I'm here at Vibes right now, located between the Sonic and CVS on Jackson Avenue. This is where most of the daily activities happen, and even before COVID, they were able to have volunteers come in and help with everyday practices like hand washing and sanitizing. Welcome back to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Gail, and this is 4 Good Minutes. Tonight we welcome Laurel Wynn, who's a member of the Ole Miss Women's Track and Field. Welcome, Laurel. I'm glad you're able to join us.
Where the William McGee Center is located, as well as a University Counseling Center right here at Lester Hall. While this is still just an idea and Buddy here is still in training, he might be able to save a life one day.
I want to go back on to you. Tell me, how is it being a student athlete? And I mean, you travel almost every weekend, sometimes every week, multiple times. Tell me, how do you deal with that, and how do you overcome any difficulties that you might have? Davis says that this program can help older retirees stay involved in the community, as well as help younger people get their foot in the door at the police department. Despite the changes, this place is still known for their great coffee and trendy, quiet atmosphere that's perfect for study or work. For the past 10 years, the company Biodetection Canine, based out of Alabama, has been training dogs to detect diseases in agriculture, and more recently, viruses in humans. President Jerry Johnson helps to explain the company's research.
So we switched focus to COVID, using the same training methodologies and same technologies that we use with agriculture.
The company, with help from Chief Scientific Officer William Schneider, trains their dogs to literally sniff out the virus.
He gets a live virus and he extracts sequences of proteins that mimic the odor of the virus.
According to Johnson, their research has shown that the dogs are over 94% accurate in detecting the virus, sometimes even early on in the infection.
But on 2 occasions, somebody that the dog gave a false positive came back within 5 days, now being symptomatic, not feeling well, retested, and that they were now positive.
Johnson says that while many people are usually skeptical when they hear about what the dogs are looking for, sniffing out viruses is more natural to them than finding artificial substances such as drugs.
But in nature, a dog wouldn't pay any attention to explosive or narcotic. It's just not part of their world. But dogs are always looking for biology.
The next step for the company is to start training the dogs to detect different strands of the virus, like the Delta variant.
So in a matter of weeks, we will now have the proteins for the Delta variant, and then we will go back and refresh all of our dogs on both.
With all of this new research, there is a good chance you will see these dogs sniffing around Oxford even more. Sarah Gail Myers, Newswatch Ole Miss.
Vibes just offers a quality of life she wouldn't otherwise have.
Paige Wilkerson is diagnosed with Angelman syndrome, a genetic disorder that affects her development as well as her speech. Paige has used the services at Vibes since she was 22. Her mother, Dr. Robin Wilkinson, says that this program has built so much confidence in Paige and has given her opportunities she otherwise wouldn't have.
When you think of, for lack of a better word, typical young adults who would be 28, they have the choice. Really, they have the choice whether they want to work or not, number one, but they also have a choice on what they'd like to do and things like that. So it's all about choices for her and increasing quality of life.
I think it's a wonderful place. We enjoy what we do. But I'm in your picture.
According to the National Disability Navigator, there are over 7 million people in the United States that are diagnosed with intellectual or developmental disabilities. Vibes of Rem, Mississippi Program Director Linnell Steen has worked with Oxford and Lafayette County adults since 2015, when Vibes of Oxford opened up as the first IDD adult program in North Mississippi.
You have to love people in order to handle this population.
The program gives adults with IDD a chance to get out and live a life of confidence and inclusion through social activities.
Every day they come here to our program, and we find different activities to do with them every day, to teach them different things within life and everything dealing with life skills.
I'm here at Vibes right now, located between the Sonic and CVS on Jackson Avenue. This is where most of the daily activities happen, and even before COVID, they were able to have volunteers come in and help with everyday practices like hand washing and sanitizing.
We hope to get that started again. It was fun for them. They enjoyed it.
Dr. Wilkerson says that volunteer opportunities like this are not only great for adults with IDD, but for the volunteers as well.
There you go.
People have an idea in their mind what individuals with intellectual disabilities are like, but when you're around people with intellectual disabilities, it enriches your life so much. Unconditional love and acceptance, and you appreciate what you have a lot more.
Is this one of your favorite games?
Steen also says that this
like this one?
program and the skills and practices that come with it are so important for the confidence of the adults that use it every day.
So you can still do that. There you go.
And because of Vibes, these individuals are able to be active members of the community and make their own choices. For Hottie Toddy News, I'm Sarah Gail Myers. From a young age, UM student Kelsey Powell has been held to a high standard.
We were kind of on and off, living on base, living off base, so there was definitely a huge influence for that kind of desire of service and being surrounded by so many people in the military.
In fact, this influence inspired her to be the first in her family to enlist in the strictest branch of military, the Marine Corps.
I really just kind of liked that desire to push yourself to the absolute furthest limits, and the Marine Corps has a huge focus on that.
Powell enlisted in the Marines 3 years ago and is currently a Lance Corporal on reserve duty while in school. But this journey has not been easy.
It's difficult sometimes, especially just because the males don't always see that you should be there, don't always recognize you as being an equal, don't recognize that females can do a more combat-centered job.
According to the Pew Research Center, the Marine Corps is one of the smallest branches of the U.S. military, and only 7% of those enlisted are women, which is still an increase from 2001 when there were only 4%.
Here recently, we've seen a big push of females entering combat-oriented MOSs or jobs and excelling. So that's cool to see, but it's definitely been a hurdle that we've had to jump over.
Powell says that she has to deal with preconceived notions about being a woman in the military on a daily basis.
I had a staff sergeant come up to me and ask why I joined the Marine Corps and what I wanted to do within the Marine Corps. And I told him why I chose the Marine Corps and that I liked the high standards that the Marine Corps sets. And he looked at me and said, well, for a female, why didn't you join something easier?
She has even been told by a veteran Marine that she should not wear a Marine uniform because she is a female.
And so, respectfully, I was like, thank you, sir, for your opinion. Have a good day. And just different things like that. And it's gotten better throughout time, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Despite the challenges, Powell never doubted her decision to be a Marine.
For me, it was always just wanting to live for something more than myself and being able to give back.
Powell will be graduating in the spring and will continue her training to become an officer in the Marines. For Hottie Toddy News, I'm Sarah Gail Myers. That's actually good. With every new year comes new beginnings for Oxford, but at least one of these beginnings has been in the works for over 5 years. In 2013, Gretchen Williams opened her first small business, Heartbreak Coffee, in Long Beach, California.
When I started, the goal was to have my own coffee shop. And, now that I've reached that, I think it's just continuing to grow.
Williams then moved to Oxford in 2016 and went into business with the owners of Uptown Coffee, selling her hand-roasted coffee through them, and later taking full ownership of the business.
I had debated back and forth whether or not to leave it Uptown or to change it to a Heartbreak for a while. And I ended up deciding to change it to a Heartbreak. Basically, just that brand was, like I said, it's kind of my baby, something I created back in 2013.
With this rebranding, Williams has been able to sell her coffee roasts along with homemade food and pastry options, as well as merchandise. Despite the changes, this place is still known for their great coffee and trendy, quiet atmosphere that's perfect for study or work. I'm Sarah Gail Myers, Newswatch, Ole Miss.